And it's the firing line, and Michelle's here as a host. It's March 11th, the 5th anniversary of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, and we'll talk about that more in hours 2 and 3. And Michelle, you have some announcements. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's been that long. How many years? 5.
And I'm actually putting together an article this week, and it'll be ready for people to read. I'm also putting together an ebook, which I've been working on with Chris Harris for 5 years, so that's coming along.
Well, hello, everyone, and it's wonderful to be here again on this March the 11th. For our Friday show.
It's wonderful. And, of course, you have a couple of announcements you wanted to mention.
Well, yeah, I guess we're going to have our Easter Passover sale. It looks like they're way far apart. Like Good Friday is March 25th, and then the Passover isn't until the last week of April. So I think just talking to customers, everybody wants it sooner than later. No, I'm not going to have both. Going to have both. No. It'll be March the 25th through to March the 28th. That's Kelsey's birthday, Good Friday, March the 25th, the 26th, 27th, and 28th, Monday midnight. So that's when it's going to be.
Sounds good. Now, of course, a couple of announcements. Firstly, people need to know, and I mentioned this on the show yesterday, if you're trying to listen to the program, the best link is it's easiest to go directly to Nutrimedical.com and do the Listen Live or the MP3 archives. Secondly, I mentioned that also anybody, even if you've never ordered before, if you email me, I will give you a starter protocol. Only elite customers get a phone call back. And if you want a consult, I'll determine that. If you start, saying, "Hey, I'm going to dump a ton of medical records and other things," I'll recommend a consultation. It's a time consult based on a half hour. And so we work on that. But the key issue is I'll answer anybody's email and tell you what to start with in terms of nutraceuticals.
Yeah, anyone can email.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. Anyone can send an email.
Right.
Always. So people are getting a little confused.
The callbacks are only for our elite customers. And, again, there's no charge for those callbacks. It's only if you do a consult if it's a really complex case and I have to review a lot of records.
So you were talking about going to listen to the Nutrimedical report, listen to the show. Yes, go to the website, and under there it says listen to GCN Stream 2. What happened, Bill, this week? Who did I talk to on Monday? I can't remember, but it gets confusing. There's so many streams.
There's I think 5 or 6 streams, and there's 92 or 93 broadcasters on Genesis. So it's confusing if you go to GCN Live. It's easiest because we have it all directly. Just go hit the button and it'll bring you directly to the right stream at the right time, or the on demand, which means it rotates the show 8 times a day. It's easiest to actually just go to our button links for the MP3 archives. It'll bring directly to the right page.
Right. And that's on the front page of Nutrimedical.com.
Right. Up in the upper right, it says listen live on GCN, the Nutrimedical report.
Yeah. Keeps it simple.
Yeah.
I've had a few people say they get lost.
Yeah.
But that should work.
And there's also a phone line number there, too. They can listen by the phone line.
Oh, yeah. There's a phone line on there that's GCN has. What is that, Bill?
The number is 605-562-4096. 605-562-4096.
And that takes you right directly to the show. Is that toll-free?
No, it depends on their phone plan, but it brings it to it's on a reserve, so it's actually kind of set up to be in a sense blocked, so it can't be hacked or knocked off or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways to find the show. Now that you found us, turn us off. Anyway, so I have a few people that I've been talking to this week. We'll start with Teresa from Iowa. Iowa's a big state in the election, wasn't it?
Very. Usually where things start.
What would you recommend, she wants to know, for healing your stomach lining or your gut lining?
GastroHeal is number 1. It's the zinc carnosine. It's the most popular for healing both gastric ulcers. GastroHeal, zinc carnosine. And they chew 1 to 2 tablets 4 times a day. It's far superior to each 2 blockers or proton pump inhibitors. It's actually the most popular natural medicine used in Japan. It was developed in Japan a number of years ago, and we brought it in the technology from Japan.
And should I take, she says, a probiotic?
Yes. You're trying to always... Dysbiosis is often a factor. For example, Helicobacter pylori, discovered by an Aussie physician about 25 years ago as a cause of ulcers. So a living probiotic 1 twice a day, and living probiotic ultra every 3rd day, and berberstatin 1 to 2 capsules twice a day will keep your guts happy and healthy. And of course, you can use Nutrimune immunoglobulins to coat your GI tract as well.
Okay, Phyllis. Hey, Phyllis from Indiana. She's in her mid-50s, Bill, and 2 years post-menopause, but her hair is thinning out. Could it be, she said, because of the menopause, and what can she take for her hair? I was thinking Collagen Max, but maybe it's the femgestrone?
Well, you have two issues. You have first the collagen issue, and you have the hormonal issue. For the hormones, you take femgestrone, DHEA, and pregnenolone cream, usually 3 pumps of each.
Do you have to take all 3? Can you take
No,
one?
I'm just telling you the protocol.
Okay, you have to take all 3?
Yes, yeah. And then femgestrone is for the progesterone, and DHEA and pregnenolone are for your estrogen levels and your adrenal sterols.
Your hair thinning, is that because of low estrogen or low progesterone? Or
It's
how
a
does that
combination.
work?
Combination. And
How does it work?
it works because without the estrogen, you don't stimulate the genes and the hair follicles. But then on the other side, you need Collagen Max, number 1, and number 2, Mountain Red Velvet. Those would be the things to help your hair grow better. You can also add Her Majesty's Royal Jelly because it generates pro-collagen. So pro-collagen is Her Majesty's Royal Jelly, then the Collagen Max, and Mountain Red Velvet. And that, I've been talking about if you have a real serious problem, if you have just a minor one, you want to just start off with one thing, Collagen Max would be number 1.
What about the femgestrone?
As I mentioned, if you're trying to correct, if you're not certain what your hormone levels are, you can do a QRMA test, which will tell you if the hormone levels are in balance, or you can do a salivary test, and you can do it at labtestingdirect.com. You can do the test if you want, but I usually recommend a QRMA. If you simply want to just take the nutritional supplements to actually correct it, just start off with 3 pumps each, upper abdomen, lower chest, femgestrone, DHEA, and pregnenolone in the morning, you're done.
So what the femgestrone does is it increases your progesterone.
Right.
And what does the
DHEA and pregnenolone support your adrenal gland and your production of estrogen.
Okay, slowly. What does the DHEA?
DHEA and pregnenolone support your estrogen.
Well, you have to put them together?
Yes, because they both work together. Yes.
What do they do independently?
Nothing.
What? DHEA. What is DHEA?
Pregnenolone is an anti-inflammatory. DHEA is important for production of cortisol, but it's also important to have the combination in order to produce estrogen.
Really?
Yes.
So the two of them go together and make estrogen.
Right.
And you just put the cream on there. What do you put?
It's transdermal, so it goes directly to your bloodstream. So it's better than taking either an injection of estrogen or a pill. It's better because it's transdermal, goes directly to your body's ability to bioconvert it in your ovaries. So it goes directly into your bloodstream, directly to your ovaries for conversion, and also to your adrenal glands, which sit above your kidneys.
Phyllis, how am I doing? I said I was going to ask you so that you could make it real simple and everything. I think I'm even understanding it.
Yes.
So you put all 3 creams on.
Right. And then if you want to start off with Collagen Max, but then I say recommend Pro Collagen, which is Her Majesty's Royal Jelly, say 2 soft gels in the morning.
Don't add the Royal Jelly.
No, the Royal Jelly.
I've never taken that.
It's very well. It depends.
It's too complicated.
No, it isn't.
Collagen Max alone is great.
It is. Collagen Max will by itself do a lot of things, and a lot of people, that's all they take. But I'm saying if your hair still doesn't, come up back and say within 2 weeks, add the Her Majesty's Royal Jelly, and then the third one to add after say a month or so if it's still not getting well is adding Mountain Red Velvet.
Okay.
And you open up a capsule.
That's what you do.
And you open up a capsule under your tongue at least twice a day.
Because you know how the Collagen Max, you just take it and you.
Boom.
Anytime you don't take it,
most women will not even.
In a week.
Most women will not even use the hormonal treatment. They'll just go to the Collagen Max and then just take that alone.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come back, and the way to tell is if
you mean just the Collagen Max?
If your skin has got dry patches and you're getting wrinkling, and you notice that you're getting what we call hormonal changes to your skin, then you want to assume that you have a hormonal deficiency as well as a collagen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Phyllis, you like that?
Yeah, it gives you the.
Probably call me and say,
Spend a lot of time on that
girl,
one. You're trying to cut it down, and that gives you. I call it stages.
But I'm trying to understand it. Is what it is. Really.
Right. There you go. And welcome back. And just heard an announcement on the news, checking it out, that Dr. Ben Carson has endorsed Donald Trump, which is
great. That is great. He would be a great vice president.
He would, actually, wouldn't he? Yeah. And also, even Chris Christie would be good. I mean, he's a fighter.
Uh-huh.
I had a dream the other night. You know the movie The Lion King? I'm thinking of the hair of Trump. He said easily you could kind of buff him up as a Disney character as a lion in Lion King.
Okay. Well. And what about Ben Carson? He wasn't in the dream, right?
No. Ben would make a good vice president because he's intelligent and he's compassionate, so he'd be a good vice president.
Yes. Oh, that's really good. That's good news. So that's just released, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah?
Despite the comments by some, the cabal, I call it, of evil, and trying to keep the status quo, but they keep on milking America like...
Look what Ben Carson says about Trump. He says, a very intelligent man who cares deeply about America.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not finished the phone calls here yet, Bill.
Go ahead.
From this week, and Tom from Texas has a problem that we hear quite often, and that's a slightly elevated PSA prostate. Mm-hmm. And if it's slightly elevated, does that mean that there could be a chance of cancer? Or
what I recommend if you get a slightly elevated PSA, you go back and repeat the test and do what's called a free and combined PSA. It's more accurately determine if it's benign prostate enlargement or if it's a precancerous. If it's still elevated, you do a transrectal ultrasound and needle-directed biopsy with a karyotype analysis by a pathologist. Mm-hmm. That's the way to analyze it. Mm-hmm. That's the steps. In terms of treatment, it's real simple. There are no drug treatments but are natural. Prostate Flow, 4 capsules, soft gels in the morning, and Xenoestrin Detox, 1 capsule twice a day, and NutriDefense with the anhydrous catechin. In fact, the research done in Japan on the anhydrous catechin polyphenol in over 2,000 men over 20 years, there was not one case of prostate cancer. Mm. So if you take the equivalent of 4 capsules a day, you eliminate the risk of prostate cancer along with the Xenoestrin Detox and the Prostate Flow. And I recommend also that you take the hormone synergy to prevent conversion of male hormone to female, which causes prostate to expand. Because benign prostate,
prevent it.
Right? Because prostate expansion is actually due to female hormone, not male. The female hormone is when your body bioconverts to female.
Which female hormone? Which one?
Estrogen, estradiol, and estrone.
Okay.
When your body converts
and that's what makes a male's
prostate, and then also xenoestrogens, which are estrogen-like molecules that are toxins. So they can avidly attach to the estrogen receptor up to 200 to 300 times more avidly, but it's actually estrogen that makes the prostate gland swell. And when it swells, it obstructs, and then you get infection in the gland. So you may also need to take Allicin Med or Nutridyne if it persists, because the Nutridyne and Allicin Med will clean the prostate of things like ureaplasm, low-grade bacterial infections, etc.
And what does the hormone synergy do?
Hormone synergy prevents
estrogen out of there?
No, it prevents your body from bioconverting through it, blocking it by a thing called 8-parenylneurinogen that blocks the bioconversion of male hormone to female. Because it's female hormone and xenoestrogens that make your prostate swell. So when you see basically almost all men by the time they're in their 60s have prostate problems, it's because they're either converting to female hormone or it's the biotoxins in the environment that are actually making their glands swell.
Because I notice over the years a lot of our customers buy the Prostate Flow. Like we sell a lot.
Yeah.
But
they should be also taking the Xenoestrin Detox and NutriDefense. And the Vision Max is the thing that will actually prevent the cancer conversion in the cells. Mm-hmm. Vision Max and Malignant Block, because you get malignant transformation of the cells due to heavy metals, biotoxins, and stealth pathogens that cause the prostate. Because by the time you get in 70 years of age, more than 50% of males will develop prostate cancer, from very benign, slow-growing, to really aggressive.
Yes.
And the doctors are over-treating mild, benign cancer.
Yes.
And so they estimated in the last decade that 1.5 million men had aggressive and unnecessary chemotherapy and surgery that ended up causing urinary incontinence or impotence.
Oh, wow.
And so the doctors are way too aggressive, and the simple test steps are do a free and combined PSA. If it's elevated still, do a transrectal ultrasound needle biopsy with an oncologist. If it's still positive, then we can reverse that, and we have our whole cancer protocol. But do not do radiation ever. Don't do paint-by-numbers chemotherapy if you do have prostate cancer, and you have to stage with an MRI or spiral CT scan and a PET scan within 48 hours. It's completely useless to do staging with a CT scan alone or an MRI. You have to do a PET as well.
Okay. For Diane and Joe, our friends from Pennsylvania, that suggested, and they weren't the only ones, many people have suggested to me over this past year to get a blog. Well, guess what? Our blog is being built with WordPress.
Wow.
And it'll be a couple weeks or more. before it is completed.
And
but
you'll
we're
be
getting our very own blog, and I'll be the administrator.
Yeah, you'll be the administrator. You'll make sure there's no bad words or ad hominem attacks, and people can communicate with each other and contact each other, and it'll be great.
I want to be the facilitator is what I want to be.
Well, you're very social, so
because
you'll do
I want people to get together, like what Joe said. Like he wants to know if there's people around where they live, in Pennsylvania, and if they can connect with each other. Well, they connect on the blog, and then, we get to know each other, because we always say we're a big family here, but it's great for you and me, but now it'll be great for everyone, because they can all talk to each other.
Right.
I'm excited.
Right.
I love that. Okay. This morning, Bill. Mitzi. This morning. Everybody knows Mitzi, our sweet, strong believer, wonderful girl, Mitzi. She came in this morning and Windows 10 overnight, because usually she has it turned off, but I think someone was in her office there. Someone it didn't get turned off. Anyways, Windows 10 took it over last night.
I don't think it's somebody who's in there. I'll tell you what I call it. And I talked to my computer.
Turns it off like
Jack Fried is my computer tech guy, and the reason the problem is if you leave your computer on, it's called I call it cyber rape. What Windows 10 and Microsoft does is they actually, in a sense, rape your computer and try to take over and have access. That's why we have a thing called AdSense and so on. You go searching on something, all of a sudden it's popping up on your screen for the next week or so, trying to sell you things related to what you searched. And what Windows 10 does is invasive. It's like the Matrix.
Let me finish to tell you what it did, though.
Yeah.
It took everything off. UPS,
really?
SPS, or histories. It took everything off, and it had this Cortana or some girl, like a Siri type thing.
Right.
And she was on there, you need some help. It was just crazy. Anyways, we figured out how to uninstall it, and it's gone, and she's got her Windows 7 back.
Right.
And that's how you get rid of it. If that happens to anyone out there listening, you just go in and uninstall.
Right.
It's actually go to a different computer, because you can't even. You have to go step by step. We used her cell phone. What
they're doing is they're moving toward what's called AI proxy cyber. You want to call personality. Mm-hmm. So just like Siri, you can talk to. They're trying to actually create an artificially intelligent system that'll actually monitor and control and help you and do all these things. So eventually you become totally dependent on this proxy cyber individual that's actually in your system. That's scary.
It is scary. Well, so don't upgrade. Don't let your computer go to Windows 10. If it takes it over on you in the middle of the night, just uninstall it the next morning and you're back. So that's a nice thing about a Mac. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Do you realize that?
I realize now we can have cyber demons inhabit your computer now, just like demonology.
Honestly, that was scary.
Yeah, there you go. And welcome back, Michelle. You have a couple more questions. Go ahead.
I do. Tim in an email. Hi, Dr. Bill. We hope you're all well. I have a friend with carpal tunnel and tendinitis, to whom I've recommended Collagen Max Tendon Mender and Mountain Red.
It should also be on Inflamax, because it breaks the interfascial adhesions.
Well, he says, what would you also recommend for her? She's a single mom who does data entry and customer service and dresses hair.
Those are all good recommendations. The Collagen Max, you take one capsule twice a day. The Mountain Red Velvet, open a capsule under the tongue twice a day. The Joint Performance is also a good one. At least one capsule twice a day, along with a tendon bender.
So is it carpal tunnel related to tendinitis somehow?
Yes, it is. The tenocytes, which are a modified fibroblast, will cause excessive production of an unorganized fibrin that actually stars things down, so it starts to cinch down over the nerve fibers and causes swelling. They actually swell, the tenocytes swell. So what you do is you use those. They have an epigenetic effect in turning off the swelling of the tenocytes. Mm-hmm. And you want to use Inflamax 4 to 5 capsules 2 to 3 times a day. Usually 4 to 5 twice a day will do the trick. And then topically, I'd apply pregnenolone and curcumin cream to the wrists 4 times a day. And that should settle it. I'd recommend also, if you have massage, they can massage it themselves. Mm-hmm. You can get what's called dynamic splints that'll keep your wrist from getting in a position that's going to compress the nerves. And make sure you have an ergonomic keyboard so your your wrists are not under a lot of strain, so they're kind of in a restful position at about the same level as your umbilicus, so you're not going to be reaching forward a long way because that stretches the nerves.
So what causes carpal tunnel? What is it again?
Inflammation of local cytokines in the tissues.
No, what causes it? Just repetitive?
No, repetitive motion triggers off the release of local inflammatory cytokines called TNF-alpha and prostaglandin F2, and they actually start to stimulate the fibroblasts to stick everything together. And then when they eventually cinch down over the median and ulnar nerves, they actually cause compression, and you end up losing motor control and sensation in your fingers.
Because if you're typing, they've got these little things that you can rest your wrists on.
Yeah, the rests are just going to give it a rest. Those are helpful, but the most important thing is to prevent the scarring. So that, of all those things there, the two most important are, number one, Inflamex and Tendon Bender.
Okay.
And then the next would be Collagen Max and Mountain Mid Velvet.
Good.
And then the topicals, curcumin and pregnenolone cream.
Next bill is Brad from Massachusetts. Good day, kind doctor. My question pertains to the biblical prophecy about the wolf lying down with the lamb. Would you say this suggests humans will become full vegetarians during Christ's return? I love what you are about and follow your show and support Nutrimedical.
I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to imply by that. Are they trying to say we ought to become vegetarians when Jesus returns?
They or he is just he, Brad.
Yeah.
He feels. I think what he feels is that in the Bible, where it says that that
you have to understand what
does that mean in the Bible?
He's not talking about animals.
We'll lie down with the lamb.
No.
It's not real animals.
No. These are
symbolic.
Symbolic of nations. The wolf nation, the lion nation, whatever will lie down. In other words, they'll come into agreement with God and the Messiah when he returns. But firstly, he won't return until he returns to the hearts of people, which is why we are the living stones of the New Jerusalem. It's not a building out there, it's us as believers. And we have to be salt and light, which means we have to be involved in politics and health. We have to be pro-se litigants. We are the fourth arm of the government. Talk about the three arms of government. Mm-hmm. The fourth arm is the citizenry that are pro-se litigants that take action, whether it's against vaccines or smart meters or illegal activity of government that's hydrofracking the land and destroying the water table. We are the ones that have to take action, not the government. And it's nice to elect a politician that's in agreement with you, but they really have a bully pulpit. They're like a pastor. We're the ones that actually keep the government honest. Us. Not the politicians, not the lawyers, not the judges. It's us.
Gary from Pennsylvania. Hi, Gary. Hi, Michelle. Gary in Pennsylvania. Received my Cardiovasc and my melatonin. TR, great products, and the cardio has made a big change in my life. Okay, enough of that, he says. My wife is not feeling very well. Her sinuses and her ears are completely clogged, and she is starting with a cough. She's been to the doctor, and she's on meds, but they're not working. I'm sure Dr. Bill can help her out. God bless you, or to you and your family. Thank you.
Can I see that again
Gary.
for just a second?
Yeah. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like that flu cough thing that was coming through here.
Yeah, it causes tremendous
inflammation. And it's a virus, not bacteria. So if your doctor gives you penicillin, gives you antibiotics, that's not going to do the trick.
Well, it's what most doctors do. They'll treat the secondary potential infection when the real problem is inflammation caused by a virus. And you get swelling and obstruction, and then they'll try to give steroids to reduce obstruction or swelling, when really they could use natural things like high-dose Power C and things like NutriDefense.
Well, Bill, that's over at Kelsey's, that works with Lori. Kelsey's teacher, used to be Kelsey's teacher. She's not in school now, but she tutors Kels now.
Right.
And we're good friends, too. So, anyway, she just told me Bill, that works at the school. He's one of the top teachers over there. He's had this now for a month. And what happened to him is he went to the doctor. Let me finish.
Yeah.
He went to the doctor, and they did give him steroids, and they did give him a bunch of antibiotics. He doesn't believe in alternative medicine, because I told Lori that we could probably help him. We could help him. Not probably.
Guarantee.
And then she just laughed and said, yeah, he's too stubborn, to...
Oh, he'll suffer with the conventional doctors, because they'll give him antibiotics, which might prevent him from getting full-blown pneumonia. But if he's got enough swelling down...
He's still really, really sick after a month. So you don't want to take that steroids.
Well, even if you take...
It's not doing anything.
Well, let me finish. If you take steroids...
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't reduce the obstruction, it won't stop the infection. You cannot stop an infection behind a blocked viscus, whether it's your lungs or your bowel or any blocked viscus in your body. If you do a surgical tie on the bowel, or you block the middle ear or a sinus cavity with a polyp, or a hypertrophied what's called turbinate.
What are you
that's blocking the
about? What?
Any block cavity, like a sinus cavity, a bowel, anything, your middle ear, you'll get infection behind it. Doesn't matter what antibiotics you take. It's a waste of time. And the steroids will help because conventional treatment will do it, but the problem is there are more powerful natural things that will reduce the obstruction. The primary thing is the virus is still going crazy. It's still probably replicating in this mucous membrane.
And you're familiar with this one. This is the PH1N1.
Yeah, PH1N1, which causes prolonged inflammatory reactions. So high-dose Power C, Nutridefense, immunoglobulins like Nutriimmune, antipathogenics that penetrate through the biofilm, because what the problem is, biofilm is basically a film that blocks antibiotics getting in. So for him, he should be on Allicin Med and Nutridyne and Silver 100 spray, the vertical nasal spray for his sinuses and his middle ear, and then Nutridefense, which actually will boost his natural killer cell activity, and high-dose Power C will actually reduce the swelling tremendously. I mean, it really is amazing how you get enough Power C in there, how it will reduce the swelling. So, you don't want to use steroids. The problem is it suppresses your response against fungi. So a lot of people that end up with taking a lot of steroids, they'll end up with dysbiosis in their gut that can persist for months or even years. And they may also end up with a massive yeast overgrowth or other problems like blood sugar turning diabetic or other problems happen. So you don't want to be doing that.
This PH1N1 here in Southern California, where we are here just in our own community in North San Diego County.
Or if you're in Eastern Ukraine.
Let me finish, though. We're hard-pressed to find someone that hasn't had it. It's that bad here.
Well, I think that we should start getting the habits of the Chinese to start wearing masks. Because if people wore a mask when they started hacking and coughing in public, it wouldn't spread. And it would just die out. The problem is people don't have the courtesy they do in China, where if somebody coughs, there's very bad manners to cough in public without wearing a mask.
Yes.
And here we need to get that habit. And it's more important than even washing your hands. What's the point in washing your hands if your droplet spray can spread at 200 miles an hour and can spread out in a plume 20 yards wide? I mean,
I know, it's true.
And the virus can persist on surfaces for maybe many hours. So if somebody touches a doorknob or a mirror or something, or a toilet seat or handle to a bathroom, they're going to get it. They rub their eyes, they eat their food.
I know, I'm so fanatical now. If I'm out and I have to go to the restroom, it's everything you have to look at. The flusher, the seat, the this. By the time you're finished cleaning, like 20 minutes later,
Exactly, yeah.
Because there's so much stuff out there, hey? Yeah?
Yeah. Michelle, you have some more questions?
Yeah, next is Amanda. And I don't have where she's from, but I think they're Colorado, yes. I know the last name. I actually know of her husband, too. He is also a customer. But Amanda has a problem, Bill, and it's with her husband. And I don't want to say too much, but it is he's suffering from depression and bipolar mood disorder.
You have to classify what depression is. Depression is a seizure disorder of the limbic system. Limbic system is a series of nuclei in the base of the brain that regulates your mood and your energy and drive. It's due to a neurotransmitter imbalance between excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters. So the first thing we recommend is a combination of Calm Mind and Brain Mag, 1 to 2 scoops 4 times a day, and Posinol, 1 to 2 little soft gels 3 times a day to 4 times a day, and BioLVR at least 1 twice a day to 3 times a day.
Why BioLVR?
Because you need
that was for the liver.
Yeah, no, BioLVR works in helping convert neurotransmitters. The other thing that you need is the Minerals, President Minerals Plus, 1 capsule twice a day. Molybdenum especially is very important, along with the vitamin B6, folic acid, and B12, to bioconvert neurotransmitters, amino acids into neurotransmitters. And when you're taking the Calm Mind, it has myoinositol, sunthein, L-theanine, and GABA, the actual inhibitory neurotransmitter. The Brain Mag has magnesium and L-threonate that calms the nervous system down, so it stops seizure activity. So PTSD, depression, and the Posinol is, in fact, I'm working on changing the name because I should call it Mood Elevator. So if you take Posinol, it not only calms you down, but it elevates your mood. So Posinol. So
where does the BioLVR come in?
BioLVR is very important for converting amino acids into neurotransmitters: norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin. And the enzymes are called tryptase and pyrrolase enzymes, and they require molybdenum, and they require the cofactors I mentioned.
So what is the BioLVR basically for? What is it usually for?
BioLVR has multiple uses. The first is a detoxification, of your liver. Second is myelination, production of digestive enzymes. and bioconversion of amino acids to neurotransmitters.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
These products are amazing.
And you want higher concentrations of B12. You want the power methyl B12, which is orange flavored little tablets you put under your tongue, and the superfolate, which is 1,000 micrograms of 5-methylfolate reductase. So it's the actual converted activated form, because 25% of the world population has a SNP or polymorphism. They can't convert it, and in Hispanic populations up to 50%. They have difficulty converting folic acid to the 5-methylfolate.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of things, for example, if you give vitamin B6 in the non-activated form, over 100 milligrams, which is a standard dosage in a lot of vitamins, you'll actually cause a polyneuropathy in people. You'll damage the nerves. Whereas our form will actually protect your nerves and your brain, which is the activated B6. So you want
which the Nutrimeds? Which Nutrimed is that?
BioLVR.
That's all in this BioLVR?
BioLVR is 3 things. Activated B6, activated B12, activated folic acid. And it's lower concentrations than the superfolate or power methyl B12, but I like it as a base because it's easy to take a capsule twice a day.
It's funny. I don't think I could live long enough to understand all this stuff. I've been doing this show 6-7 years now, and man, I don't know how you do it, Bill. I don't know how you remember all this stuff.
To me, it's easy.
Do you have to be a medical doctor first, or what?
You have to be driven. I'm very driven to actually know this stuff, because I think the problem is, and I want to make it simple enough that I could train someone. In fact, I'm going to put medical references in the wellness conditions and video, so that if there's someone who is up to a level of a medical doctor, and by the way, MDs that have background in physiology and pathology and so on have much deeper knowledge than a naturopath or chiropractor. You have to understand that. And if you don't understand how to read an MRI or CT or PET scan or genetic analysis, you're out to lunch. So, although some doctors are still doing natural stuff, the number of doctors that are doing functional medicine now is exploding like crazy. And they're joining our Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, Environmental, and they're picking up these skill sets really quickly because they realized Big Pharma's dying. And they're no longer going to let them manipulate the state licensing authority or the hospital privileges committee or the medical schools.
Next, Bill, is Carol from Michigan. Oh, yeah, Carol. My name is, she gives me your last name because I remember with your other name, Carol. Yes, I do remember you because you've been around for many years, too. Hopefully you're picking up more than I am on these shows. Right. Anyways, I purchased a QRMA machine from you over a year ago and have not used it because I was getting married and wanted my husband to be able to use it also. Then she tells me she ordered it under her regular name that I know. This week I attempted to load it onto my Windows 7. Good, she says 7, desktop. I did it 3 times and got the same error message, Bill. Each time, cannot find your encryption lock. Can you tell me what I did wrong? It's
a little silvery lock that you have to have in the USB port or the system won't work. It's actually a security lock that you can't copy the software and not have the encryption key. So you put the encryption key in, it'll work fine.
Where is that?
It's in with the package with the machine.
There's a little
USB encryption key that you have to have in the USB port. For example, if you look behind me here at my laptop, see that little silver key?
Oh yeah.
That has to be in, or the
USB.
If it isn't in the USB port, the spare USB port, it won't work.
Okay, Carol.
That's all it is.
Hopefully that helps. Oh, so you'd have to make sure your computer...
If your encryption key has that in there, it'll work fine. It downloads the software, but it won't operate unless the encryption key's in.
Because iPads don't have USB ports, do they? But she's on a Windows 7.
No, it has to be on a...
it has to be Windows, because
it can't work on a Mac, right? And it also has to be on Windows 7 or 8. You can't go on on another type of system. No, it won't work on a Mac.
Bill Henry, our friend Henry. Hi, Henry, up there in Corona, California. You know who I'm talking about, Bill. Good morning, Dr. Deagle. And he gives me a compliment. I'll just say Michelle, but that's very sweet of you, Henry. Can you please send a Word document of the 11-page wellness form so that my son, Robert, and his wife, Jennifer, can start to fill in the information for a consult for little baby Ethan?
Yeah, actually...
Little baby Ethan?
Yeah, I read that this morning. They don't need a Word document. They just go to the the PDF, and just print it.
From where?
Just straight from the website. So if they go to the consultation, it says, download it, product information. That little thing is a link that gives them an 11-page thing. They just print it, fill it in, scan it, and send it back as an attachment.
He goes to say that little baby Ethan is a very smart boy and very handsome. And I'm just like you, Henry. I'm trying to come up with a walker of simple design that he can exercise his left arm and leg. Instead, they have a walker that costs $4,000, Bill, at Miraloma Children's Hospital.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
So they didn't say what kind of disorder he has. It's a motor disorder of some kind.
Yeah, I'll have to give this to you.
Yeah,
Open up the link.
Most likely, you'd have something like a muscular dystrophy or
Why would
some
it
of
just
the
be the
neurological.
left side, he says, just the left arm and leg?
Yeah, we'd have to determine if he has a tumor that's affecting that side or some form of dystrophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll be sending that too.
And by the way, I can actually analyze their genetics to see what the genetic cause of dystrophy is, the metabolic disorder with their organic acids, and provide them nutritional support to try to see if we can correct that problem. Down the road, they're going to be able to do gene editing to actually fix it. But right now, we use nutritional therapies to fix many metabolic conditions that you otherwise wouldn't think, because we give the activated form of the nutraceuticals. I call them nutropharmaceuticals because they're more than just nutritionals or herbals that'll actually help to correct metabolic defects. So we can already do that.
Next, Bill, is Jason from Kansas. Hi, Michelle. I just got my first canister of Ageless today. And when I got home, I read the label. Oh, he thinks that there's milk in it from the Immunomax. Bill.
No, there's no milk proteins. It's got immunoglobulins. There's no milk proteins in it. They had to put a label on it medical legally, but there's no milk proteins that produce allergens.
And what's the difference? What is the...
Immunoglobulins are not allergenic. Those immunoglobulins simply are going to support your immune system with what's called lactoferrin and colostrum. They'll bind free iron. They stimulate your immune system. They protect your GI tract, your respiratory tract, and generally boost your immune system. But there's no allergenic milk proteins in there. So it basically is totally safe.
Because, okay, so why does he think that there's milk in it? Why do we say...
They put a label on it because the medical legal people with the company make it for us think that they have to be overly obsessive when there's no milk antigens present there. It's dialyzed out, so it's only immunoglobulins.
And what's the IgG testing he's talking about? That's how he found out he had a milk allergy.
Yeah, if you have a delayed type allergy, you want to avoid milk, but there's no milk in this. It's basically immunoglobulins.
So it's a different thing.
Yeah,
it's hard to understand.
Immunoglobulins are like IgG antibodies, IgA antibodies to protect your gut wall.
I'll give you the email so you can explain it.
Yeah, there's no milk proteins. No, there's 8 different allergenic proteins in milk.
It's not complicated?
There's 8 proteins in milk, like
I gotta go, Bill.
lactoferrin and colostrum, and lactoferrin and lactalbumin and casein.
Okay.
Those proteins are not present in this.
I have to say goodbye.
Okay.
See you later. We'll have a great weekend. I'm going to see The Young Messiah tonight with Kelsey, and I'm looking forward to that. We're getting close to the time when our good Lord...
Destroy harmful bacteria, allergens, bed bugs, dust mites, fleas in your home with a Ladybug Steam Vapor System.